Bangalow is famous for these weatherboard cottages you can see behind me. Great gardens, everything very green. But what a lot of people miss when they come to Bangalow is this waterway. This waterway is known as Byron Creek. Byron Creek as a name was actually what was first given to the settlement of Bangalow. So it was known as Byron Creek at the end of the 19th century. You can imagine that was a little bit confusing with Byron Bay taking off as a settlement down the road. So they updated that to Bangalow at the turn of the 20th century. And Bangalow is a name derived from an Aboriginal word from the local language here, which refers to these palm trees. These palm trees are Bangalow palms. They're really lovely. And the other great things about this area are, of course, the fauna. So I've seen ducks, I've seen water dragons. I'm pretty sure I saw a turtle. Not 100% sure on that one, but I'm going to take a little walk along the creek now and see what I can find. And it does pop out at this great area, which has quite an interesting history in itself. So we're going to check that out. Okay, I was right. There's definitely turtles in this creek. I just saw another one jump into the water as soon as I came along. They're very hard to film, so might have to get lucky here by waiting it out. We'll do a turtle stakeout. Okay, it's not a water dragon, it's not a turtle, but I found myself a very healthy looking brush turkey. Many people call them bush turkeys, and I suppose they go by either name. The original name was brush turkey though, because they brush. They use their claws scratching away at leaf litter, and that's both to find food and to create these massive mounds where they lay their eggs. They're actually an ancient species of bird, and the way that they lay their eggs in these huge mounds, covering the eggs themselves with leaf litter, is very similar to reptilian tactics of making sure that eggs keep warm until they hatch. So in my research, I've discovered they're actually kind of an ancient bird, which so ancient it's got a bit of dinosaur in it. It's coming for me. They're an ancient bird which has all of these reptilian attributes to it. This one more of a velociraptor, I think. Very healthy and strong looking one. This one is coming, so I'm going to leave it to it. I've said my part. Anyway, keep going. At this part of the creek walk, I can hear some gurgling, so there might be some little rapid or bend in the creek itself. So I need to trek through a little bit of native forest to check it out, but hopefully we get a nice part of the water. Oh yeah, ooh, she's picked up. She's got some speed here. The creek is a fraction of its size here. Make my way down. And look at it run. Babbling brook. Oh man. Wow, this is the first time I've seen it. It's beautiful. The water looks fresh and natural. It's running through this sort of slice of paradise. Totally alone here. I'm probably the first person who's ever seen it. I think I've discovered it. Might even name it Byron Creek. Oh, it really is nice. If I see a turtle in here, I'm going to swim with it. This part of the creek feels like a real untouched piece of nature. There's turtles bobbing around in the water, there's ducks paddling away, but if you move around the creek bank, you actually start to see the very interesting history of this place being revealed. Now, once upon a time, and we're talking about the 1920s, so about 100 years ago, this part of the creek opened up into an enormous swimming pool. It was an outdoor complex. You can see the concrete walls which ran along there, which had sort of a wooden step going down into the water. This was part of a barrier at this end, so it formed a dam in there. And on that side of the bank, there was a 10-meter high diving board, and descriptions of local and international divers coming and having competitions here. And it would attract hundreds and sometimes thousands of people from around the hinterlands and around Byron to come here and basically have swimming carnivals and festivities and races. At the time, in the 1920s, swimming at the coast was less popular in some ways. It's pre the sort of surfing culture of Byron taking off. That's more 60s onwards. People are still very scared of sharks as they are today, but more so then, and there was less supervision with lifeguards and so on. So swimming was sometimes reserved for freshwater in rivers and creeks and billabongs, and here at Byron Creek in Bangalow, they had a perfect scenario with this slow-moving creek that could then turn into a spot to create a huge swimming pool. So that's the diving platform, 10 meters high, which was located over on that bank. You can see all the town folk in the 1920s coming out for celebrations. An early version of the jacuzzi there in the creek as it flushes along, and just happy days. So a great spot with a very unusual history, and look how high they're going up there swan diving in, considering that when we think about the Byron Bay area and swimming these days, it's really all about surfing, getting out into the coastal waters, but back then it seems it was much more popular to do it here in the hinterland. All right, well, this point marks the end of my creek walk today. It's a great piece of the village's history and natural heritage as well. So a minute's walk from here is the main street with cafes and shops, but make sure if you come into Bangalow to check out the creek walk and the forest trail that runs alongside it, because it's a really nice hidden gem. Plenty more of those in the hinterland, and we'll be venturing off to find them all.